My girlfriend of 4 years started acting distant, staying out late, and eventually cheated on me with another guy. When I confronted her, she admitted to the affair and told me she wasn't happy anymore, asking for a divorce. I never thought I'd be one of those people posting about their relationship drama on Reddit. But here I am. Honestly, I just need to vent and get this off my chest because it's been weighing on me for months now. I'm not really sure where to start, but I guess I'll just tell you the story from the beginning. It all started about 4 years ago when I met Rachel. I was 27 at the time and working a solid job in finance. I'd never been great at dating, to be honest. I wasn't a total recluse or anything, but I didn't go out of my way to meet people. My friends were constantly bugging me about trying online dating, so eventually I gave in and signed up for one of the apps. I figured, what's the harm? That's where I met Rachel. She was 25, beautiful, and seemed to have a good head on her shoulders. We started chatting online, and I was immediately drawn to her. She was smart, funny, and super easy to talk to. We met up for coffee after a couple of weeks of messaging, and from the moment we saw each other in person, there was a connection. We talked for hours, and I remember thinking that maybe I had finally found someone I could really connect with. For the first year or so, things were pretty great. Rachel and I moved in together after about 8 months of dating, which I know sounds fast, but everything felt right. We had a lot in common, shared similar values, and, for the most part, communicated really well. Sure, there were little arguments here and there, but nothing major. It felt like a normal, healthy relationship. But looking back now, there were signs that things weren't as perfect as I thought. Rachel always had a bit of a temper, but I kind of chalked it up to her being passionate about things. She'd get really worked up over small stuff, like if I didn't do the dishes right away or if I left my clothes on the floor. I'd try to explain that I'd get to it eventually, but she had a way of making me feel guilty for not doing things exactly when she wanted them done. I'm not perfect, and I know I can be forgetful sometimes, so I tried my best to compromise. The thing is, Rachel was always really good at making it seem like her frustration was my fault. Like if I just did things the way she wanted, we wouldn't have any problems. And for a long time, I bought into that. I convinced myself that I was the one who needed to be better, and I tried to do everything I could to keep her happy. Then, about a year and a half into living together, things started to get worse. Rachel had always been pretty close with her friends, which was great. I didn't mind her going out for drinks with them or spending time away from me. In fact, I encouraged it, but she started going out more frequently, and sometimes she wouldn't come home until really late, or she'd stay over at a friend's place without telling me until the last minute. When I asked her about it, she'd get defensive and say she just needed her space, which I understood. Everyone needs time with their friends. But one night, she didn't come home at all. It's strange, you know? I've spent so much time thinking about what went wrong with Rachel, and now that I'm on the other side of it, I realize how much I lost myself trying to please someone who never really cared. In the months after she left, I found myself replaying conversations we had, moments where I felt uneasy, but instead of listening to my gut, I kept ignoring the red flags because I didn't want to admit that maybe she wasn't the person I thought she was. I think about all the times she made me feel like I wasn't good enough. I know no one's perfect, but looking back, I was constantly walking on eggshells around her. I didn't want to rock the boat or do anything that might upset her because every time I did, she'd find a way to twist it and make me feel guilty for it. I'd always end up apologizing, even when I hadn't done anything wrong. At the time, I thought that was normal, like I was just compromising for the sake of the relationship. But now I see that it wasn't compromise, it was control. Rachel was good at making me believe that if I just tried harder, things would be better. If I just gave her more space, or if I didn't ask so many questions, everything would be fine. I was so scared of losing her that I forgot to stand up for myself. I let her call the shots, and I convinced myself that it was all for the sake of keeping the peace. But now, I've realized that peace at the expense of your self-worth isn't really peace at all. It's just avoidance. And when you avoid the hard conversations, when you keep pushing your feelings aside, all you're doing is giving someone else the power to dictate how you live. I didn't see it then, but now it's crystal clear. I've spent a lot of time reflecting on what I could have done differently, and I think part of me stayed in that mindset for a while because it felt easier to blame myself than to accept that Rachel just wasn't the person I thought she was. I didn't want to believe that she was capable of lying to me for months, of walking out of our life together so easily. But the truth is, she made her choice. I wasn't a priority for her, and I don't think I ever was. I think what hurts the most is that I gave so much of myself to someone who wasn't willing to do the same for me. I don't regret loving her. I know that I was all in, and I gave it my best shot. But now I see that love can't be one-sided. It can't be about constantly bending to someone else's will, hoping that one day they'll finally see your worth. Love is supposed to be a partnership, and I was doing all the heavy lifting while Rachel was already halfway out the door. I'm not gonna lie, the past few months have been hard. I've had to relearn how to be on my own. I spent so long wrapped up in trying to make Rachel happy that I lost track of the things that made me happy. I stopped doing the things I loved, hanging out with my friends, going for long runs, or even just watching my favorite shows because I was always focused on her needs. But slowly, I've started to reclaim those parts of myself. I've reconnected with old friends I hadn't seen in a while, and I've started working out again, which has done wonders for my mental health. I even took a solo trip a couple of weeks ago, something I'd never done before, and it felt so freeing. It was nice to just be by myself, with no one else's expectations weighing me down. And you know what? I've realized that being alone isn't so bad. I used to be terrified of the idea of being single, like it meant I was failing at life or something. But now, I see that being alone is better than being with someone who makes you feel small, someone who makes you question your worth. I'd rather take the time to heal and work on myself than jump into another relationship where I'm giving more than I'm getting. I don't know if I'll ever hear from Rachel again. And to be honest, I'm not sure I want to. I've heard through the grapevine that things with the guy she left me for are still going strong, but I try not to think about it too much. I don't wish her any ill will, but I also know that she's not my problem anymore. Whatever happens to her is out of my hands, and I'm finally okay with that. I'm not quite ready to start dating again, but I think that's fine. I've learned that I need to take care of myself first before I can even think about getting into another relationship. I need to be in a place where I'm confident in who I am and what I want, and where I won't settle for someone who doesn't treat me the way I deserve to be treated. I guess if there's anything I've learned from all of this, it's that love shouldn't come at the cost of your self-respect. If you're constantly having to chase someone's approval or bend over backward to keep them around, then that's not love, it's control. And as much as it hurts to admit, sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to walk away, even if it means walking into the unknown. So yeah, that's my story. It's been a rough ride, but I'm finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I know I'll be okay, and I know that one day I'll find someone who values me for who I am. And until then, I'm going to keep focusing on myself and the things that make me happy. Thanks for sticking with me through all of this. It feels good to get it off my chest. Story 2. AITA for not inviting my brother to my son's graduation because he made it all about his new girlfriend again. I, 41M, have a son, Sam, 18M, who recently graduated from high school. This was a huge milestone, and we have been planning a special family dinner to celebrate. I was proud of him and wanted the evening to be focused on his accomplishments, as he worked so hard to get to this point. My brother Alex, 38M, has a bit of a history when it comes to family events. Every time he gets into a new relationship, he parades his new girlfriend around, turning any occasion into meet the girlfriend night. It's happened so many times that it's become a running joke in the family. But this time, I wasn't in the mood for distractions. He just started dating Lisa, 27F, a couple of months ago, and I knew exactly how the night would go. Alex introducing her to everyone like she's the main event, hogging conversations, and making it about them rather than Sam. So, I asked him not to bring her to the dinner. I told him it wasn't personal, but I wanted the focus to be on Sam, not on his new relationship. I thought Alex would understand, but he lost it. He called me selfish, said I was jealous because he was happy again after his divorce, and accused me of deliberately excluding him. My parents, always the peacemakers, got involved and started pressuring me to let it go. They said Alex deserved to be happy, and that Lisa should be welcomed with open arms, especially since Alex hasn't been in a serious relationship since his divorce. They made me feel like I was ruining family harmony, but I stood my ground. I wanted this night to be special for Sam, not another spectacle about Alex's latest girlfriend. In the end, Alex refused to come without her, so I didn't invite him at all. Now, my parents are furious, saying I'm alienating my own brother over something petty, and Alex is spreading the word that I'm punishing him for being in love. Sam had a great night, but I can't shake the feeling that I've caused unnecessary drama. Some family members agree with me, but others say I could have just let him bring her to avoid conflict. I'm stuck wondering, was I wrong for drawing this line? Or is Alex the one who's making everything about himself yet again? I know.